Hi everyone, it's Abhinav from PhoneBunch and this is our full review of the Yu Yutopia. Now this, according to Yu Televentures, is the most powerful smartphone ever. You have Snapdragon 810, 4 gigs of RAM, 21 megapixel camera and a 5.2-inch Quad HD display. But does that translate to real-world performance? We will get to that. Let's talk about build. You have the power button sandwiched between the volume rockers. I really don't like this arrangement, it's a bit difficult to get used to, and you have that insane camera hump at the back. You have your audio jack at the top. Now this is an all-metal smartphone, just 7.2mm in thickness. On the left you have your SIM card slots. Now this is a dual SIM 4G LTE cable device but with a hybrid SIM card slot. So you can either expand storage or you can use a second SIM card slot. Overall the build is pretty decent on this device. At about 160 grams with a 3000 mAh battery, it doesn't feel that heavy. Now again, if we go to the back, you have a 21 megapixel camera there, dual LED flash and a fingerprint sensor, which really doesn't want to work most of the time, and the speakerphone right there as well. Overall the phone feels very good to hold in hand. The rounded sides definitely help in that aspect, and the phone doesn't feel slippery, which is an added bonus. But the fingerprint sensor here really doesn't want to work. Now there is a recent update which is supposed to fix all these, but we haven't got that yet. Now if we come to the front, you have an 8 megapixel camera, proximity and light sensors, and just below the display you have a notification LED which is again multicolor. Moreover, you have on-screen buttons which again for some reason don't want to work. In landscape mode they just stop working for some reason. But the display is actually pretty good. It's very sharp, it is a Quad HD panel and has very decent viewing angles too. The only real issue I have with the display is that the color reproduction is slightly tending towards the warm side and sunlight legibility is pretty average. I can also tweak the white balance of the display. There are some settings available. Auto mode doesn't work that well, but the outdoor mode or the bright sun mode is actually perfect. It gives the best white balance on this display. Now call quality was also pretty decent over here. We didn't have any major issues. Call recording was also available. Both the speakerphone and earpiece are decently loud. Tethering, Wi-Fi hotspot and GPS also does work fine. But network reception is on the average side here. Now let's get to this camera. So you have a 21 megapixel rear camera with a Sony IMX230 sensor. You have optical image stabilization and phase detection autofocus, which is supposed to work very well in theory. But in practice, again, it doesn't work that well. This is a very average camera, and given the price point as well as the hype around the device, it's really mediocre to tell you the truth. The front-facing camera is again just about decent, gets the job done, but the images generally do turn out quite grainy and lack color. I'll show you some of the image samples. Now here you can see that in outdoor conditions with good amount of light, color reproduction is very accurate and images do turn out good. But if you look deeper into the images, you can see there is very little detail, and even the details that are there are very hazy. So overall this is just about a decent camera, and as soon as you go into low light, it really shows its weakness. Images turn out very grainy, out of focus and lacking in detail. Even distant shots don't look that great. Dynamic range is again a bit on the poorer side. Taking macro or near focus shots, you need to have very steady hands even though this phone has OIS. And moreover, there is an issue with consistency here. You can see these two images taken just at the same time and you get a huge difference between exposure. Exposure control is very poor here, as is focusing. Video quality is again just about decent. 4K videos look very soft, 1080p videos still look quite decent. And here too the camera suffers from exposure control. Now let's talk about audio quality. So you get these House of Marley headsets within the box. These do sound quite alright. Far better than any in-box headset that you get. Now the speakerphone here is decently loud as well. It's not the loudest that we have seen, but still they get the job done and they don't rattle at full volume. FM radio is also supported and video playback is again pretty flawless. Now we have CyanogenOS running on the device, which is based on Android 5.1.1 Lollipop. There are a lot of customization options here, there are a lot of themes available too. I really didn't like this new app drawer, so I switched to the Nova launcher. I am just showing you this because this is how you would get the device. There's a new service too which Yu Televentures announced. It's called Around You. It's actually pretty good. So you're planning to go out to eat. You'll get an option to write there, and it will show you the cabs that are available in your vicinity as well. It's actually pretty well thought of, but the experience seems a bit half-baked because this app crashes quite a lot. So I switched to the Nova launcher just because of that, and because the on-screen buttons just stopped working for some reason most of the time. It actually got really annoying, and all the frustrations are due to the CyanogenOS running on the device. Now there is ample space here. You get 32 gigs of onboard storage, out of which about 22 odd gigs will be available when you get the device. Lots of free RAM for multitasking. So this device should have performed great with day-to-day use. But CyanogenOS is really keeping it back. There are a lot of customization, a lot of useless as well as a mix of useful features. But there's just endless customization which you really don't need. And it gets really frustrating and does bog down the device a little bit as well. But in general, yes, performance is very good on the device. Apps open up quickly, web browsing was very smooth as well. But then again, Cyanogen starts acting up. Apps crash, the phone begins to slow down, you have to restart the phone once or twice within 3 or 4 days. Which is frustrating because you really don't want that with a device when you are paying about 25 or 1000 rupees for that. But there is a saving grace. Gaming performance was actually pretty good here. We played several games including Asphalt 8 and Nova 3 and the phone didn't heat up. So Snapdragon 810 has been cured of all its heating issues and this phone really did perform well here. But the lack of consistency in the software experience even with the default apps is really bothersome because it seems like a beta product. It seems half-baked. And after all the great things that you said about the device, it's really sad to see. Battery life was again just about average for a device in this price segment. We got about 3 to 3.5 hours of screen on time with the balance mode on. In performance mode, it degraded very quickly. Now this brings us to the end of this video. The software experience is really poor on this device. Apps do crash here. Performance is inconsistent, and then you have weird issues like the on-screen buttons not working for some reason. The touchscreen also stops responding at times, and then you have a fingerprint sensor which is very finicky. It's actually one of the slowest fingerprint sensors I have seen for a long time. Now you definitely have a good bout of hardware here, which should perform quite well and give out a great user experience, but the software really pulls it down. There are some design issues here and there as well which Yu Televentures should look at, but mostly it's a user experience that is lacking here, and again I would say that Cyanogen was a wrong choice for this smartphone. Do tell us what you think about the Yutopia in the comment section. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, do mention those as well, and as always, have a great day.